Achieving financial success takes dedication, discipline, and most importantly, a plan. For over 30 years, Don Reynolds has helped savers define their needs, formulate their plans, and achieve their goals. From accumulation to preservation and protection, and through the income distribution phase in retirement, implementing the right strategies makes all the difference. Your retirement is our business. Welcome to Strategic Asset Preservation.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Reynolds Wrap. I'm Don Reynolds.
Corey Stilp here. Good to see everyone.
Yeah, always good to be seen and good to see everybody.
Absolutely.
So we're going to continue on with our series of Retire Ready, because we think it's so important that we cover this. And like I said, there'll probably be 4, maybe 5. We're not sure how long it'll take to get all this in. And like Corey's mentioned the past one, please call us 651-773-3859. We can get this in your hands. So with that, we touched base. We kind of left off last one about sources of income. And, today the reality is you got pensions, retirement plans. So pensions are, not so, they're more the exception than the rule today. Let's put it that way. But there are still some out there, but the majority, our pensions are going to be created by our own savings, which are your 401ks and qualified dollars, IRAs, so on and so forth. Of course, Social Security, we've talked about that many times in the past. They say that of all the people collecting, 88% of the people collecting, it's 55% of their monthly income. So you got to make sure you do that one right. Of course, we can help with that. We've got a software program where we can show you the dollars and cents behind that. And then lastly, you've got your personal savings, the money that you have saved, that you've been working to save for your retirement plan. And so again, those are the 3 most common places that you have those dollars coming from. And so we just want to help you get the most out of all of them, I guess the best way I can put it, in the most tax-favored way.
And deal with the risks with each of those sources. That's one of the big things that, again, we want to identify for our clients and help them with. If it is pensions, what's the risk there? Perhaps if there's not a COLA or a cost of living adjustment and that pension is level, you run the purchasing power risks there that, again, over time, the purchasing power of those dollars is going to dwindle down as inflation goes up. And again, that's a hot topic right now with what we've been through with inflation. And of course, Social Security, we've talked at length about that. We help a lot of our clients and the listeners. Again, we'd be honored to help you with looking at spousal benefits, survivor benefits. And again, within a survivor situation, one of those benefits will walk out the door, and how do you prepare for that? But I think one of the risks that I want to hit head on right now is, when you talk about income and retirement, running out of money, because that is such a key risk, as well as fear that so many people have when they're looking at retirement. Is when can I retire, because I don't ever want to run out of money, and I don't want to have to go back to work in my future, or have a lifestyle that's going to dwindle down at some of my golden years or later on, or be a burden to my children, or whatever the case may be. So when you're talking about that risk of running out of money, couple of things that we've talked about in the past, and again, we'll hit on them slightly, would be sequence of return risk. That is a real risk that you've got to make sure you hit head on in retirement. What that deals with is the sequential order of a return on an investment when I'm drawing money from that investment. So this is not a risk when I'm in that accumulation phase we talked about in our first episode here, but this is a risk when we start to talk about taking money off the asset. If we don't change our philosophy and we don't change some of our investment philosophies, and we keep that money 100% at risk, and let's say we have a situation where we've got a 2008 or something more recent here, where we've got a situation where the market just drops down 7, 8, 10, 15% while we're drawing off of that asset, that can have a great deteriorating effect on the overall asset pool. We've got to make sure that we hit that head on, because that is the key when it comes to running out of money, or the fear of running out of money. And we don't want to have that ever for our clients, because again, now we're back to a situation where what do? We could be in our middle 70s, our early 80s, we could be in our late 80s. And with, again, longevity happening today, we've got to make sure that that is something that doesn't come into play for our clients.
Yeah, and just to touch on the what's going on with longevity, because a lot of people, they have a hard time believing this, but people are living longer. They say married couple today who are age 65 or older one of them have basically a 50% chance of living to 92. You talk about centenarians, so people turning 100. These statistics are, it really says what's going on. Part of it is, I think, is technology, obviously healthcare improvements, but in 2010, there was 53,000 people over the age of 100 or lived to 100. By 2020, it went to 90,000. By 2030, they expect it to be 130,000 people living to age 100 or more. And then and I say short years because it goes so fast, but they're saying projected in 2046, which I realize that's 22 years, but they're talking by then. And that's really going to be the first group of surviving baby boomers, which of course, I'm one of them. So that's awesome. But it says there'll be potentially 600,000 of us
Wow.
living over. And so that's why we can't stress enough how you have to make sure you set yourself up for lifetime income.
Yeah.
And there's only a few ways to do it today: pensions, Social Security, or create some kind of a pension with guaranteed income for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
It's the biggest fear out there, and we all know that. We hear it every workshop we do.
Yeah.
So that's really addressing risk number one.
Well, one thing I'll add real quick on that, I always like to talk about this in our seminars, that when I say ROI to you, that acronym, most people will say, what does that mean? Well, they're going to say return on investment. I mean, that's what we get 10 out of 10 times.
It is.
And really what we're talking about here, especially as we get into that preservation phase and that distribution phase and this income phase, is ROI should stand for reliability of income, folks. We really need, again, have that philosophy and mental shift. That's a challenging thing because we're conditioned, but yes, we still want return on investment. Yes, we're still going to grow investments, but we got to make sure we have that reliability of income.
No,
absolutely.
That's a great point, Corey. Great point.
Yeah.
One last, and this is pretty quick, and then we'll finish up for today because again, we want to keep them somewhat, short so we don't lose attention and get lost in the translation. But
very important topics and stuff. Yeah.
Risk number two is our national debt.
Yep.
It's crazy is what it is. But today, $33 trillion, and of course it's growing.
Yep.
And we talk about this in one of our workshops where it's the biggest challenge we face is trying to fix it. And there's only really three ways to do it. Really, in my opinion, there's two: higher taxes or budget cuts. And when you talk about surpluses, now this one I think really hits home. The last time our U.S. government, federal government, had a surplus was in 2001.
Wow.
Think about that for a minute. 23 years ago. So things got to change, folks. And with that, I know it's not the greatest thing to end on, but with that, we're going to go ahead and end.
Yeah. I mean, it's just that way with any debt. If it's personal debt or our country's debt, there's really only two ways to really go overcome that: is spend less so you can pay off your debt, or increase your income. Well, the income for the our country is taxes. So, and I know our listeners, again, you've been listening and paying attention. We talk a lot about taxes and tax forward planning for our clients. So that's really where we're talking on this and stuff. But
like you said, taxes and inflation are the two biggest things that erode your retirement plan. So
well, do give us that call. We'd be honored to get this in your hands. We'd be honored to sit down with you. 651-773-3859 is the office number, or again, utilize the technology measures that you have available to you here through the podcast or our website to schedule an appointment. Again, no cost, no obligation. We'd be honored to sit down, go through your personal situation. We can apply all of these retire-ready topics to your personal situation and get through with them on a personal plan for you. Because, again, comprehensive retirement plans is really what we need to be looking at today, folks. We can't just wing it anymore.
Well, thank you very much, folks. We'll see y'all next time.
Yeah, sounds great. Have a great day, everyone.
Listen to more with Don Reynolds and Corey Stilp on the Strategic Asset Preservation Podcast by visiting 800preserve.com.
The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only, without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for a particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature and not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs. Early withdrawals may subject the owner to penalties, fees, or taxes.
Fiduciary duty extends solely to investment advisory advice and does not extend to other activities such as insurance or broker-dealer services. Advisory clients are charged a quarterly fee for assets under management, while insurance products pay a commission, which may result in a conflict of interest regarding compensation.
Advisory services offered through Brookstone Capital Management, a registered investment advisor.